Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DW Africa. Today I am speaking to a Kenyan life coach. He is a psychotherapist. He is also a lawyer. I'm talking of Benjamin Zulu Ke. Good evening, Benjamin. Welcome to DW Africa.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, so today we are talking about COVID-19 effects on sex and relationships. I know that is a topic that is so dear to your heart. I've been watching a lot of your videos and
Thank you.
I won't get too deep into it, but thank you so much for joining us. So tell us what's been happening in Kenya in terms of the COVID-19.
I think what both here and elsewhere, one of the things that COVID did is to change lifestyles so that people were forced to work from home. Others were forced to adjust their lives. They lost the income, the source of income they used to have. They had to adjust. And what is sex? Sex is that central part of our lives where we go for relief, especially in that world. We don't have a lot of entertainment, so we only have each other. So sex was where people go back to. So when people stay together for long, okay, you can guess what is going on. There before, people were locked in different cities. Now, many were forced to be locked in the same place. But you should not imagine that staying together excited us more. There's some marriages, relationships that survive because we are only meeting for a short time. Okay? They were fragile. And because of fragile, that distance helped the relationship to survive. When people are forced to stay together now, it becomes explosive. They are no longer getting intimate. The differences come to the surface. The things I've been trying to push under the carpet now come to the surface. So it has had two effects. Some people have had more time for intimacy. Others have had distance further because the relationship was fragile and they are trying to postpone the inevitable. What the lockdown did was to force people to face reality. It strained the relationships that were weak, have been broken. The ones that were strong have been strengthened. Another thing that it did is that men in particular, the energy of a man is full of testosterone. All right, men connect relationship-wise using libido, a lot of that. All right, so when they love a woman, there's a lot of sexual energy in it. Women still, but women you make use of a lot of oxytocin. We call it trust molecule. Women will bond with you because they trust you, have done life with you. But a guy will start with, hey, that chick is hot, man.
You know what? You say that actually relationships, there are some that have sugar has been put into their relationships, and then some people have actually gone apart. But there's something I was reading when I was researching earlier today that since sex relationships affects to immune system and boost immunity against virus infection, avoiding sex is not recommended. So is that true?
I cannot speak a lot about the immunity and the sex, but what I can tell you for a fact is sex is directly related to your self-esteem, self-confidence, which promotes hormonal balances in your mind, which reduces stress hormones. When you feel confident and cherished, and when you feel your immunity, your system function optimally, and your health, you beaming, you can conquer a lot of diseases. Your body is very balanced, it's very healthy, self-replenishing. But when you feel abandoned, rejected, you're questioning your worth, you have not been held. We have a need to be held. Held, just that. And women know that a lot because they value a hug. You know, hug is a cure. Sometimes the therapy you need is that
attention, the attention, the hugging, the cuddling.
But now the girl wants to be held even at night. I want to sleep. Don't ask me to hold you.
But these are times we need to treasure them. I mean, a lot of people have died due to COVID-19. Some have died. Right. So life is short. We need to cuddle. You need to hold me. You need to hug me and hold me throughout the night. All right, let's talk about physical benefits. There are
all right.
indications that sexual activity is an integral contributor to quality of life and overall physical health.
What? Because I have not specialized on the act of sex and the effect itself. I'll focus on how it affects the mental balance.
Mm-hmm.
When a man feels he has the vitality, he is desirable, he will perform more. It boosts your confidence, boosts your self-esteem. When a woman feels, and that's why I encourage women to always dress, put some heel, even if it's not a high heel, a medium heel. So that when you walk, it gives you literally a lift. You feel a lift, feel confident.
So
And then it
dressing,
enhances.
so dressing contributes to how a
Not
man must
for a
feel.
woman, dressing is everything. When a woman dresses dull, she will start feeling dull. When she dresses in a manner that is turning heads and people are acknowledging her feminine presence, even a girl who was otherwise timid will feel good. If you find positive attention is repulsive to you because your soul is sick, you have been abused and repressed, and only a shred of your soul is alive, very weak. You need to replenish your self-esteem. That ability and being cherished is the core of a woman's self-esteem. In fact, one way I tell men, don't struggle too much to win the woman. Make her feel special and she'll come on her own. Don't need to force or use a law. Look for what makes her feel special and just work with that. Even if you don't feel it intensely, acting. Romance involves acting. So sometimes.
Okay. Benjamin, you are a life coach, so you need to be neutral. Now talk about women. How are men supposed to also impress the women?
Okay. How a man is supposed to impress a woman. One is it should bathe, it should not stink. Smelling is a taboo. Even if you are hardworking and sweating, there's nothing sexy about it. You know, in Africa, there are some people have this weird idea. When you are sweating and ragged, now that is sexy. No, nobody wants to hug you when they are holding their breath as they talk. So I want to ask men to observe their hygiene. Number two, show chivalry, good manners, gentleman. Pull chairs for her, open doors for her, give her the way. And men keep saying empowered women who have money are hard to love. Money can never replace the place of companionship, love, cherishing. But a woman who has money is easier to love because you can clearly see her needs are emotional. This other woman has financial needs, physical needs, every need. So a woman who has money is easier to love. She's remaining with emotional needs, being made to feel special. Listen to
Yeah, but they say that women with money, women with power, women with good careers are very controlling. And they say that it's actually a turn off for men. Is that true?
An empowered woman only intimidates a weak man. Only weak men talk like that. When I was dating, I wished I could get a girl with a car so that we already start with one, a plus. In Africa, a car is not something you inherit. Most of us we have to hustle and buy your own. Most of the places you find where men are average. And I want to remind you that what people cannot handle, they always persecute. They always give it a bad level. They just want to make you feel that you should not be independent, you should not be self-sufficient. But I must also warn women not to call themselves boss lady, powered woman, independent. In romance, that's taboo. Even if you are independent, don't use it. In romance, you use relational language like family oriented, relational, simple girl, playful, spontaneous, easy. That's the language you describe. If they ever ask you to describe yourself in a dating market, don't say, I'm an independent, I'm a high powered CEO. Never say that. That's a taboo.
Ego.
It's not ego, this is reality. In chemistry and connection, we want a charming girl, sexually excitable girl. We don't want an empowered woman. There's nothing sexy about that. So even if you really are, use the language for the content. You go for interview for a CEO job. Now you can tell them how you are widely traveled, how you are cultured, how you are, this modern and exposed. If you are interviewing you for CEO, but if you're interviewing you for girlfriend, for wife, use relational language. I'm a super girl. Mom, I like traditional foods. I like to relax and, use relational language. Respond to the context. Many women don't know how to change the context and they overstay in the single market. They overstay because they're always working powerful, even when they needed to look at a simple
But
child.
Benjamin, let's talk about COVID-19. We are covering our faces like half. You can only see the eyes. Now, even here in Europe, it will be the head because it's very cold, the mask. You're single. Who's going to see you? How are people going to recognize my beautiful
Thank
face?
you for bringing that up. Virtual. Take photos of yourself with those masks without them on and put them on your status on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever you are. Put your charm online. COVID has also taken people more online in larger numbers. You'll be seen by more. If you're wise, this period will work best for many women who are wise because more people are on their screens now. People are being taught to work online. People are being given permission to stay on connected internet throughout the day as opposed to before. So this time you can be seen by more people, by more men. Then do a video call like we are doing now for dating. Do a date like this one. I mean, talk to a guy, evaluate paper. Only those who match the criteria to good extent you meet them physically. When you meet, observe social distance and remove the mask. You cannot connect when you are hidden. Connection requires you be seen, you be visible. This is only those people who come to. And I tell women, even this COVID period, you should not postpone your dating. If you had a plan of dating in 2020, don't say you wait for God. Who told you COVID is counting days? It might not disappear because 2020 has gone. Sometimes you need to go with life as it is. No, the way to go. In fact, don't say we are unfortunate or it's unfortunate. There's nothing unfortunate. Work with what you have. It has affected everyone. In fact, when those who are timid and fearful withdraw, those who are courageous and risk takers, they'll come out. And you need to remind people just that every marriage is not the same. I want you to get a good grade of a man. And I tell men that you need to get a good grade of a girl who can take you where you go. A girl who can accommodate the size of your vision. The same to a woman. Do not start with dating. That's why I tell university students don't date before you're 25 because your brain stabilizes, matures at 25. Your consciousness, your personality, who you are becomes visible at 25. Before 25, you're being a blind duck into the dark. You're committing, you're promising something you don't know. And I want you to remind Europeans and Western the world. They have this habit of letting 16-year-old day, 18-year-old day, 20-year-old day, thinking they're mature. No wonder you're hearing, this is my bad marriage, this is my fourth divorce, that's my this thing before you knew who you were. And then your heart is broken into tatters and shattered. So many pieces. By the time you come to the one who you spend life with, you're bringing a fragment. Don't talk to me like that. Jim hurt me. Don't remind me what Maggie said. Don't remind me what Peter said or Lily said. You have had too many bad experiences. By the time you come here, you are an ICU case. And now I'm supposed to walk on eggshells as I date you. I advise those who are wise to wait until they're 25 at least so they can know what their career is becoming, the direction of life they're going. What do high schoolers know? Those dummies? University. What do you know in the university? You cannot, many of us past 25 wake up as if from sleep. You're wondering what was that? What was I talking about? Who was that? What was I even doing?
Yeah, Benjamin, but you also spoke about online dating. Can that be trusted? Because there are a lot of vouchers out there in the world. I
There
mean,
are vouchers, there are vouchers online and there are vouchers offline. The problem is not online, offline. The problem is lack of skill, fear, and timidity. Huh? The same people online are the same people offline. It's about knowing how to handle the space. The online space might look fluid and to a fearful and the unschooled and the simpletons. If you know what you're looking for, if you know how to search offline, you will know how to search offline. It's people. They're just using gadgets. It's people. I mean, we have dangerous places in your city and we have dangerous places on Facebook. I mean, it's the same people. This is a tool. So what in fact, online is safer because they can't come where you are if you don't tell them where you are. I mean, you can preach. It's very simple. It's safer. I mean, only when and the reason you keep hearing trapped, and I'll tell you a funny thing is because those people who are trapped are the under 25. They are the most vulnerable because they are young and stupid. And they should not be intelligent in relationships. The problem you have, we think once a person becomes 18 or 16, now they're mature enough to leave them alone. You leave them alone, they indulge, they get damaged, they get broken, and nobody can trace the root. Go search on your own. The teenage brain, it is 10 to 24. Teenage brain is mainly emotional, not rational, and it is equipped for acquisition of skills. I told those schools were locked and they went home. This COVID, I told them these pre-25s. I call them pre-25s, 24 and below. The best thing to use this lockdown season is to develop your skills. I told them in your career, you aim at mastery. When you are a master in your craft, you never jobless. You don't hear things that your salary is being cut down. You don't get fired. You fire the employer. You choose who to work for. You're the one who's calling the shots when you master your field. The reason we have joblessness and unemployment because we are replaceable and we look the same. Those who have taken time to build their craft and distinguish themselves, they are always on demand because the finesse with which they do the work is irreplaceable. And the employers find you so resourceful because you get results. You make them move. You get things happen without supervision. And you love learning so much, you take new challenges, you keep trying new things, you keep pushing yourself. Mastery. I tell them during lockdown period, if you're a student of university, don't start living with a person crying at night because he cheated on you, because she left this one, because she that's nonsense. Get out there. Develop your skills. You're wasting imagine breaking your heart. Later on, you're abandoned by that man, then you're abandoned by money and abandoned by God. What's wrong with you? At least get one home. I tell them don't be broken. That's stupidity. At least get hold of money. So that even if people abandon you, you have some money to comfort yourself. You have some skills. You can drive yourself to work and back. You cannot be abandoned by, I don't know, at the same time, you have no money. So my message to young people during this lockdown is nothing has slowed down for those who are headed for mastery, those who want to release their potential in the world, those who want to affect humanity, those who have dreams they respect, those who have visions that make them restless. Those who wake up at night to research, those who go online to learn useful things, not to watch just jokes and useless and politics. Have you seen how much negativity?
But politics is our daily life. It's part of us.
It is part of us, but you don't be obsessed with it. You should also have a life. We have people who are too much into politicking that they don't have a life. And again, how many times are you voting? We are voting so few times. You also need to realize, you also need to build your life because the people you vote for are not thinking about you, they are thinking about how. After you finish your civic duty, perform your civic duty, then go home, go back and build your skill. So what I tell them is, there's a lot of negativity you see online with this young group because they are bitter with life. They expected the state to get to give them employment. They expected, I don't know who to give them what. The reality is, you do not wait for a person to give you anything. You take it yourself. You build yourself. You advance. And one of the things in our third world here, most of Africa is third world. You find people are tell them our problem is dependency. And next problem we expect to be given. The next problem is mass wastage of potential. And you know where that happens? People value relationships and love more than they value their dreams and their passions. This lockdown closed the universities and people are sent home, others are being told to study online. So people are using online time to build useless, futureless, dead-end relationships, incompatible nonsense. Oh my God, I can't stand it.
All right, let's talk about psychological benefits. Daily activities such as sexual practices are highly related to a person's quality of life and mental health. You are a life coach, you're also a lawyer. I'm sure you've had a lot of cases where things probably went more wrong during this pandemic.
Yeah, because people who have had underlying issues like anger, anxiety, depression, now the uncertainty of this period has sparked, triggered that person to sink into fear and anxiety and depression more. The person with a tendency for violence and temper has been triggered more. What this did is it removed the predictability in the routine of life, left people and people are feeling like what happened next. That fear is what exposes them to behave extreme. That fear is what causes people to go overboard. These are sometimes because people with the underlying emotional and psychological issues. And what we tell them also are, if you're living with a person who they have potential to go overboard, think of your own health factor. Think of your own survival first. Don't rush to try to rescue a person. You rescue yourself. I mean, we need to, some marriages that have divorced or separated this period, and just you need to remind people that sometimes divorce is not the disaster. We divorce to avoid the disaster when there is risk to your life, when there is risk to your dream, when you are always suffocated and killed, when the true nature of the person has come out and you realize to stay with them, you have to bid goodbye to your dreams. Sometimes we divorce as a measure of last resort. There are people who stay for the sake of the children, and that's the most stupid thing I've ever heard on this earth. If that marriage was bad for you, neither is it good for the children. Because what is that person modeling to the children? What are they teaching them about marriage? What are they teaching them what to tolerate? What are they teaching them? Sometimes you don't just think about who will be offended and hurt by what. You also think about who will be convinced, who will be misled, who will be totally lost in the world if you do not stand up for them. Do not demonstrate courage. Do not demonstrate truth and reality. This period has also demonstrated, has forced people to look at things they were looking away from, and many people who are depending, there are some people who do not have their own identity, they depend on money. The fact that they're providing is what gave them relevance. Now they cannot provide, and they realize they have no friendship with their children. Apart from the fees they were paying, the rent they were paying, they don't know their children as a person. They do not have conversations. They don't have closeness. The reality here we need to tell them is that you need to realize this period is giving you one last throw of the dice to revive the relationship you were missing. Children are with you for only a short time and they go away. Once they go, they don't return. We only have one trip through life. All of us, we just do one trip. There's no round trip. You don't come back again. So you only have one chance with children. You only have one chance with your partner. And many of us, what we don't realize is you'll find people who have been drinking more this time, watching pornography more, indulging in betting more. Football is strong, but people are trying to bet whatever they can bet. But it's resuming, and people are looking. So there are 4 types of escapes where people run to. Some run to drugs and alcohol. Others run to betting and gaming. Others run to sex-related things like masturbation, pornography, and then that also run to money, things to do with money, manship. I mean, things to do with money. So I like to call them spiritual or invisible weaknesses like greed, manship, mean-spiritedness, pride. They're invisible, but they're very corrupting. And because most people never see them, they imagine this person doesn't drink, this one doesn't party, this one doesn't na. So they are clean, and yet they are conceited.
But I want to talk about. I want us to talk about pornography. You mentioned pornography. You also mentioned that everything now is online. People are dating online. So what are you trying to say about pornography? Just for our viewers to understand, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Now, pornography is a distortion of a good thing, which is sex. So they film it to flame the passions mainly of men. Pornography is not about sex. It's about capture and domination. You need to tell our young men that pornography is not healthy sex is about connection, love, expression, companionship, intimacy. Healthy sex is about that. Pornography is about power, domination, objectification of women. It's about twisting. It's about sick men trying to show power through, making a woman cry, feel, Women are in pornography for the money. You understand? Women are paid to perform. Men are also paid. The industry is basically 90% is the men. Because men, as I told you, are driven by testosterone. Women have other emotions that also. So when let me show you a crude way of realizing testosterone. The next time you see any male animal running around after the female ones, a donkey, a cock, or pig, that's the hormone, testosterone. Men have it. If you do not control yourself as a man, you will find yourself lowering yourself to the levels of animals and using instincts. The pornography is an industry that is very wealthy because it depends on addiction. Addictions are easy to sell because they are natural weaknesses like alcohol, those things that are addictive. So pornography is an area of perversion, where people are twisting healthy thing. Food is good. But what if people started showing how every time just eating, and they're selling those videos of eating and to arouse your desires. So a good thing can be abused and taken out of context, make it look good. Another thing with pornography is most people have repressed desires, sexual passions, maybe to sleep with older people or younger people or taboo or incest or something. Because they cannot do it immediately. They want to those who are doing it to experience fulfillment or some kind of gratification by extension, by imagining they were the ones doing so. The problem in the program is eventually what you're watching, you want to do it in real life. It will stop being that exciting and you want to do it in real life. That's the problem. People think only they watch and leave it. And another thing is because now online, COVID has made more use of internet. People homes are connected now. People are trying to work from home. It makes us because pornography has always used the online, has always used the virtual because it needs to be hidden. You need to watch in a secret. So it has made it more accessible, more available. Many more girls are succumbing because it has money. The girls are promised money, succumbing to the filming. People, others don't send your news. Sometimes it's pictures, not just videos. Sometimes it's vocals. You record a sound. So we are having many people, and as I told you about pre-25, many of the naive victims are also at 24 and below. They do not know the long-range consequences of those choices. And what you realize is what pornography has done is promising shortcut in life. There is no shortcut. The only true money is the slow money. That girl who goes to indulge in those things to get the money, she is left feeling empty, guilty, shameful. And then she has to use the money to try and drown the guilt she got by it. It's a cycle of destruction. The only true money is slow money, the one you sweat for, the one you work for, you develop yourself. This COVID has also opened other opportunities. Now you can work online for people abroad, overseas.
But Benjamin, at what age is dating allowed? At what age should dating start?
For legal purposes, anybody who has ID, who has an identity card, but for psychological purposes, fine. That's when you know what you're becoming.
25, right?
Yes.
And then you are dating your boyfriend, you're in university, and your boyfriend is somewhere in another town, and then lockdown came, the borders are closed, there is no intercity movement. What do you want those two to start doing? Because
first of all, dating when you're in the university is self-destructive. It's a height of wasted.
But it's a choice.
It is. When you're in the university, you whites are big on choices. In Africa, we are big on reality. So
okay.
I have always said that the day they will put me in the same hall with some of these people who are so big on rights, there will be a blast. Because I'll be tired.
But people have rights, people have choices. What we can just do is to discuss around it, like what then happens, because there are things we can't change, you and I can't change.
If you choose to do something that will hurt you, don't ask me about it. Go ahead, make yourself a guinea pig. So if you ask me to talk, I will tell you that I recommend before you're 25, most university students are under 25. Before you're 25, develop your skills. Once you reach 25, date with intention and full involvement.
Date with intention.
As a woman, don't just sit there hoping the guy sees you. Switch on your light. I mean, integrate socially, show up online, take the best photos of you, be proactive, respond to inbox, share your contact with people, have a number
that's when those vouchers I once spoke about that are always online posting porn and waiting for women, that's when they now come into your DM.
No problem.
And how do you now
ignore them? It's very easy to tell a hyena. It's very easy. The reason I said you wait until you reach 25, you'll have gotten some insight. And I don't mean everybody is dating past 25 dates, right? The brain develops at 25, but your brain is only at 2 in the muscle. If you don't use it, doesn't help you. Just the way you have your eyes and you can close them and fall into a ditch. So I just mean you have now the capacity, but you still must put the effort straight. Rational thinking about relationships is only possible to invite them. We are saying, we are saying there is predators online, but if you know what you're looking for, I told you online is safe because they can't come to where you are unless you give them the address. So you ignore the inbox. Continue until you meet the right people. Myself, I met my wife online on Facebook.
Really?
Yes, I did.
I never believed that can happen.
What I'm telling you, what if you know what you're looking for, the online is the best space because I could check on 10 girls in a day. You can't do that offline. Offline is very slow. It takes you too long to meet 10 potential girls. I checked many girls because I just inbox. A few will respond with that. Goes home, we get to
What about, are there other girls that also approached you first? Because you know in Africa we
Miami
feel like it's a big.
girls are supposed to approach, but they don't approach directly. They don't say I love you, I like you, because if they say that, they're taking leadership or relationship. That's the reverse draw. Because if you tell me you like me and I say yes, what do you do next? The man should always take leadership. All right. So what you do is to invite me to catch my attention, and that's all. As long as you are full in your color and I'm searching and I caught my attention, Dizzy, thank you. You said you like my content. Maybe I tell girls to only compliment the man's attributes, maybe his work, how he dresses, how he talks. Just start a conversation. You just need to be in his space. That's all. If he was searching, he will search. If he was not searching, don't impose yourself because he will use you and dump you. So there's some men who are opportunistic. You make yourself available, they use you. But if you come in and just start talking and he likes you, term him, he will pursue you so that you have a chance to examine him, whether he is serious and whether he fits your description. A woman, you are meant to be pursued, not pursued. Forget this confusion you are hearing. This is modern times. Anybody can initiate. And then what next? The psychology of a woman is to be cherished, to be made a queen, made special, to be treated. I mean, she's not the one to pursue her, and men cannot be pursued. His hunter instincts cannot be changed. I want you to warn those people who keep saying this is a generation or you Africa, but that civilizations can change, but psychology. Men are the ones who hunt.
Okay, so as we round up, I just want you to re-emphasize on safe intimacy during and after pandemic times, keeping the adventure and pleasurable feelings at the same time alive for our couples watching us today.
If you want to keep the fire burning, have projects in front of you. Take this COVID as a challenge both of you are supposed to conquer. Marrying does not mean you come together, sit there looking at each other. The fire will go out. You'll become monotonous. Find challenge. Let there be spaces between the two of you. Go work, I go work, attend kids, so that when you come back, we have stories to share. We have
no. Let's talk about where we might. Okay, of course the vaccine is coming, but we're talking of times of lockdown. In terms you are stuck together.
We are stuck together, but you're working in the bedroom, I'm working in the city. That's what I'm talking about.
I just opened the door and I see you. You come in the room, you take something. It's the same house.
It is the same house, but you can be emotionally at work, mentally at work. You can be together physically, but you're not together emotionally. It takes concentration to connect. You need to take your mind to other things for the sake of the brain. Then if you're not working, go online and study. Let me do something. And then attend this. Don't let that staying together mean I have to answer. And sometimes women they are talking aloud and want me to listen and she's just thinking aloud. And she's thinking constantly and endlessly. No. There comes a time men are like lions. You know, a chicken can chase a lion from its cage if the chicken makes enough noise. Sometimes men also need some silence. They need some time, peace to process things. So even if you're locked in the same house, let there be times when you immerse yourself in other things to come with new material to talk, new material for discussion, new material for experience you've seen. Don't let it be up in each other space like this. After a week, it will become boring. Make sure there's variety. If you're locked in the same house, introduce variety by doing other things. If you're just on your phone and on your laptop and you're attending things to do your work, you're doing things to do with your school, things to do with your children, you can spend a few hours. By the time you come back for lunch, come back for tea break, come back for supper, you go, I have seen this one. Did you see? Yeah, I'm hearing. No. And please make sure you're not discussing about the deaths and new infections. That's a very morbid topic, very boring. It's okay to acknowledge what is going on, but don't make it every day you are following. Oh, now they have reached this number. Oh, now they have reached this number. No. Don't feed yourself with anxiety. Feed yourself also with the positive content, the good things that are happening, the progress you're making, what you're hoping for. All right. Bring positive energy in the relationship. And men, especially, don't forget to romance your woman, to do the things she likes. Even if you can't go out every day and get flowers, look for another way to replace them. When you go for a walk out there, bring a physical flower, just pluck a flower. Do a few things that she likes. Be creative. This season is for creativity. Blessed are the dark. Blessed is the night, for it shows the stars. This darkness and night of COVID to show those men who are creative. So be creative. Keep your woman engaged. Keep your children happy. I mean, do the best you can. Even if your income has gone down, most women don't mind if you are there emotionally for them. You are there. You encourage them. You try to get other jobs. Most women will not. They will even cover you up. People will not know that she was the one making the pay because she will give you to pay, and she will pay quietly because you are meeting her needs, and that is what the any price. As I said in the beginning, money can never replace a man. If you know you're placing your woman's life, even if she's earning 10 times more than you can make her feel like her because you make her play, laugh, giggle, you hug her,
Thank you,
you hold
Benjamin.
her.
Thank you so
That
much.
is very
Thank
important.
you. Thank you so much for joining us today on COVID-19 Real Life Chat as we were speaking about the COVID-19 effects on sex and relationships with a Kenyan lawyer, a life coach, and he's also a psychotherapist, Benjamin Zulu Ke. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Thank you.